Three, two, one, action. Welcome back to episode 55 of As Seen on Screen. I'm Nicole.
And I'm Gracie, and you can watch or listen to us wherever you get your podcasts on Spotify and YouTube.
Well, welcome back to another week on the show. We are so happy you are here, and we can't wait to share all the latest in entertainment news. Gracie, we have something off the top of our list that we've actually spoken a bit about before for sure with her other company. But what is Reese Witherspoon endeavoring in now?
You know what? Reese is making sure we have a comfortable and fulfilling place on the internet, and I'm here for it. She officially launched Sunny, which is a new media and lifestyle brand that is aimed for Gen Z women and individuals. Basically, the quote reads, "Every girl deserves a space where she feels seen, heard, and powerful, and Sunny is that space." Obviously, as Nicole said, she already owns her company, Hello Sunshine. So I feel like this is such a good second one to have, and it's very much up her alley. She's very vocal about not only the equality in the workplace, but just making sure women and young women especially have a safe place in such a competitive and cutthroat industry and world. So I'm here for it. I think it's something that her younger self would have loved. So I'm proud of her, and I think it's such a good idea.
And I love too that they're doing these like little segments, at least on social media, called Future Fill-ins, because the
Mhm.
first individual they had do that was Lana Condor, another amazing actress, if you don't know already. And they had her do a bunch of like little notes to her future self. Some of them, there was like prompts that included, "What's a choice you made recently that you think future you would be really proud of?" And Lana said, "I recently made the choice to prioritize quiet me time. I'm much more myself when I have a day to rest and reset and truly let my mind unwind." So I think those are all really cool and it goes on for the whole slideshow. So I'm interested in seeing who else they bring in to do those little future fill-ins because I think that's sweet. And I think that's so cool for anyone to do, not just people involved with the company, but I think it's really cool to like write down your goals for the future and see where they match up as you go along trying to fulfill them.
Yeah, and I love the fact that she's brought in therapists and lifestyle coaches, and it's great to have people like Lana making all of these lists and being relatable, but when you bring in the doctors and the professionals and give them a space to talk to these young girls and have the young girls actually receive it, I think that's really important too.
I agree, especially to have, like they said, that safe space, that little corner of the internet where they can at least turn to for those types of advice or um, little prompts. So I think that's great.
We love Reese Witherspoon.
Absolutely love her. Well, moving in to some TV news that we have. Pretty Little Liars is celebrating its 15th anniversary, and The Hollywood Reporter did a piece covering the show's milestone anniversary. I was reading through it and I sent it to Gracie, and one quote that I loved, Marlene King, the show's creator, of course, said, "I like the idea of doing a movie or limited 10 episodes back in Rosewood. And let me tell you, what I wouldn't give to see that happen." I love Pretty Little Liars. I mean, of course, I was a little bit young to watch it when it was actually out, but I definitely watched it like young teen years, preteen years, and I've loved it ever since, watched all of it. And they have so many different spin-offs. Like we had The Perfectionists quite a few years ago. Then we also had, we've talked about here on this show before, we had the Pretty Little Liars summer school recently last year and the season before that. And I think those spin-off shows were so fun, but nothing beats the original, and I would love to see them do like this little, I think a movie would be so cool, Pretty Little Liars movie, but even 10 episodes back, kind of like the Gilmore Girls Year in a Life. That was like the 4 episodes would be something great like that for Pretty Little Liars with the OG cast. I'd love that.
Yeah, I think that would be so cool. But also another quote or point in this piece that really stuck out to a lot of people was the Aria and her teacher age gap. And the actors are standing by it. And I love that. I mean, obviously it's problematic, but I love that the actors feel so passionate about this project as a whole and they're willing to stand by everything they did because it was such a collaborative and passion-filled project. So you can tell even 15 years later, everyone loves this show. Everyone who is on it has a special place in their heart for it. So it's kind of like you definitely know they would all come back for that 10 episodes or for a movie, and there would be lots of drama.
I love that. Just think about where the characters would be, especially now in that point, like 15 years after the original, where there'd be, I mean, obviously, if you've watched the full show through, there was a time jump already. So a little more than 15 years of where we started, but I think that'd be interesting to see where they are now. But the quote Gracie is talking about is, I stand behind their love story forever. That forbidden love story drew a lot of people in. And of course, that was Lucy Hale talking about her character Arya, like Gracie said, and her boyfriend Ezra, who became her husband at the end of the show. Spoiler, sorry, but I think it's safe at this point.
It's been a few years. I think it's safe.
It's been a little bit of time.
But yeah, the time jump is definitely interesting. And we did see a bit of Arya in Pretty Little Liars Original Sin.
We did.
So we know that she's still got life going on with Mr. Fitz. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see like a more in-depth.
I think it's interesting, like, too, what you were saying about that quote is like, I don't know. The relationship, of course, if that was like a real world relationship, would not be good.
Problematic.
Not be good. I'm not saying do that. I'm not saying do that at all. But listen, it's TV land. You know, TV and movies, it's fiction. It's supposed to be not mirroring someone's real life. And so I think how they did that relationship on this show, some choices were interesting. I always like seeing the scenes people post on TikTok where it's like when Ezra and Arya decided to tell her parents, and then they were upset or shocked that they didn't take that well,
He
that
was like,
their
get out of
teenage
my
daughter
house. And he's
was
like, whoa,
dating the
what?
English teacher. Ezra did turn out to have some interesting character flaws and some
Oh,
other
100%. We are
ulterior
not.
motivations throughout the show. But you know what? By the end of it, it was all good.
Long story short, we do not condone these acts, but for TV, slay.
Pretty Little Liars, yeah. Now, our next piece of news, turning a little bit to music adjacent. Someone Gracie especially talks about on here a lot, so I'll hand the floor over to her. Who are we talking about here, Gracie?
Mr. Benson Boone obviously had his album come out very recently, and he's been getting a lot of hate for not only the album, but just like his overall personality, which is so interesting to see on the internet because he claps back very fast. But besides all of that, one of the things he's been getting made fun of for is his moonbeam ice cream because nobody knows what it is. And he's kind of just rolled with the punches and been like, it's a fun little like thing that I came up with out of nowhere, and it blew up and became this ridiculous thing. So, on the note of Moonbeam ice cream, to celebrate the release of his album, Crumble Cookie is doing a collaboration with him where they're actually doing a Moonbeam ice cream cookie between June 23rd and 28th. And obviously, it's to celebrate Moonbeam ice cream and his album American Heart. So, I personally have never had a crumble cookie, but
Really?
they're expensive, man, and there's
There.
nuts. Like,
We don't want you to die.
I'm allergic to peanuts, people. Um, so I personally really want to try this one. One, because it's Benson Moon. Two, because it looks really pretty.
It does. You know, when they always do, I always think back to the Olivia Rodrigo collab cookie that they
Mm,
did when Guts came out, and they're so pretty.
they're so pretty. I'm like, I just want to look at it. Like,
I just want to get it and hold it in my
it's
hand.
just a boop. But also, like, what would that even taste like? I'm curious because originally I thought he was going to come out with Moonbeam ice cream
Yeah.
because he had posted that someone made him the ice cream. I'm like, that'd be so smart. Like, do a like Baskin Robbins or something.
Yeah.
But this, I'm like, okay, what is this even going to taste like?
To me, okay, from the looks of it, because it has like that galaxy type
It
thing,
looks so pretty.
I either get like a confetti, like birthday cake type vibe, or on the total opposite, like a berry. Because every time he posts it, it almost looks purple from like
Yeah, it's like a
pretending what it
blueberry
is.
kind of looking.
Yeah.
So
Okay. So we've settled on either like a birthday cake confetti vibe or like a berry of some
Well,
sort.
but then like the cookie itself looks chocolate.
Yeah,
And I was not getting chocolate from
maybe the icing is where the moonbeam flavor comes in, maybe.
maybe. I feel like we're gonna have to have a taste test.
We're I agree with that.
That's gonna be a
We
whole
get on that.
episode.
We're gonna do an ASMR of us eating a crumble cookie.
Watch our social medias for that coming out. In horror movie news, which is usually Nicole's go-to, but for some reason it came up on my feed first. I guess it's a sign I have to watch the movie.
The universe had other plans. And
Strangers Part 2 obviously is something Nicole is very excited about. We've talked about it quite a bit on this podcast, but the lead actress, Madeline Pesh, posted this very cryptic link to her story, and obviously I decided to click on it because why not?
There's that internet safety coming in handy.
So we click on it and it takes you to the Venus, obviously the town news page, which is the place in the actual film. And it's kind of like this news page for all of the people that quote unquote live there. We have some little things like Welcome to Venus, and it gives you the background story. You have 5 hidden gems in the town that you should visit. Obviously, there is a public safety advisory that was posted, and there's a strange figure spotted. Who are they posts? And what I find really cool about each of these posts is at the bottom, after you're done reading, there is like this public discussion post that the people within the town kind of like talk to each other in. And it's so cool. I think it's such a smart marketing thing because you see half the people are like, oh, I love the way this town has changed over the years. Everybody's so close, blah, blah, blah. And then we have random ones that are like, I'm looking into a missing person in the area. I found this page that the police don't want you to know about. Can anyone confirm that, like, this is an actual thing? And then the police reply and they're like, how did you find that? You're not supposed to be here. Like, very interactive, and obviously you can book the cabins from the movie, which is concerning. Please do not do that. But yeah, if you put in your information, like your email, I believe, or your Google account, it gives you access to things that are within the town because now you're a town member. And overall, I just think this is a really cool interactive idea. And it makes me think that we're going to be getting some more content for the second film pretty soon.
I love this. I love when movies do these interactive ones. I remember last year with Long Legs, they had that billboard with the phone number and you could call, and you would be talking to like the Long Legs character himself. And lots of other movies and TV shows have done similar ideas to that. But a website like this is so cool, like Gracie's been saying, that's so interactive. You can look at all these little pieces. There's all the discussion posts to look through and how everything interconnects with each other. And I think it's too a good reminder of like everything that happened in the first movie as like a little refresher. Everything we saw in Strangers Part 1. What can we expect in Strangers Part 2? But yeah, this is just such a cool little website. I love that they built something like this. I think it's so fun to get the fans involved. So it's so cool to see things like this. Well, that's all the news we have for this week. We got some recently watched items to review here. Gracie, what did you watch this week?
Oh, so glad you asked. I just started the new Netflix TV series, The Waterfront, and I'm obsessed with it. Okay. Go back to last episode. I told you this was gonna be a hit TV show,
Did.
and it's doing phenomenal on Netflix. So it's just so dramatic. It's so romantic. It's like a mystery. Like it has everything you could want. Um, but yeah, I'm only on the second episode, but the first episode had me hooked within the first 5 seconds. Like that start was crazy. The end also very crazy. And I haven't yet met a character that I don't like, but it is also the first episode, so we'll see. We will very much see.
Have time. You have time to settle into
We
it.
got lots of time, but yeah, the waterfront. I'm so excited to see where it goes with the rest of this season. I'm assuming it will be my weekly watch for the next 2 weeks, but yeah, watch it on Netflix. Hopefully it gets renewed for season two because I already know it's gonna end on a cliffhanger and I hate cliffhangers because then it takes so long for the next season. That's my watch of the week. But Nicole, what was your watch of the week?
I have two watches of the week. I have a recently released and a big throwback. So I'll start off with the throwback. I saw when I was in Los Angeles, I saw The Great Outdoors at the Academy Museum Theater. And remember when we were talking about John Candy last week and I was talking about The Great Outdoors? I love this movie and I forgot how perfect it is, obviously, for the summer. It is such a perfect, like, cottagecore campy vibe. Alongside John Candy, we have Dan Aykroyd, Stephanie Faraci, Annette Bening, and tons of other younger actors. But you know what? Honestly, a more accurate, probably side-by-side depiction of this one would be like the vacation movies. Specifically, there's so many different lines that John or Dan deliver that remind me of Chevy Chase's lines in the vacation movies. And the comedy is just great. You know, the 80s had such funny like movies like this, those like campy, just comedy movies, the lines are so funny. The plot is great about two families joining together to have this vacation. Well, they're all one big family, but they're brother-in-laws. So it's always just funny to see what these two comedy legends do when they're put side by side together. So that's just a fun throwback. So if you have the chance to watch it this summer, anywhere you can find it, I definitely suggest watching The Great Outdoors. But also while I was in LA, I had the chance to see Materialists in theaters, and I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I really loved the third act specifically and where the second act ramped up to. I'm not gonna lie, it took me a little bit to get into it. I think the cinematography is gorgeous. I love Celine Song. I think her script and the lines in this movie were incredible. Obviously, there's the ones floating around where Chris Evans' character is talking about, when I look at your face, I see wrinkles and babies that look like you. Such like heartbreaking and heartwarming at one time. And then there's some other lines that talk about wanting to feel valued in relationships, and there's a few things specifically between Dakota Johnson and Pedro Pascal's character that talk about that. And again, such heartwarming and heartbreaking all at the same time. So I think her writing is just impeccable. I wasn't as much into Dakota Johnson's character at the beginning. I think Lucy's very complex character to understand, and I agree with a lot of people online that are saying it's more of a romance than like a rom-com. But just how her character views love, I think, is very interesting, and she has, like everyone does, has some progression as the movie goes on. But I really did love the second and third act, so I think it's well worth a watch in the theater. Like I said, oh, the cinematography is just gorgeous. It has that New York City romance vibe to it. It's just the gradients is beautiful. So that was such a good watch too. So it was a great week for Gracie and I here for watches, clearly on television and movies. Okay, Gracie, on to our next segment. What was your song of the week?
My song of the week is not a new song, but it's one that I go back to every now and then, and like it just hits so hard that I'm like, wow, what a good song. I gotta listen to it 20 more times within the week. And that's been what it's been for like the past 2 weeks. But Flower Shops by Morgan Wallen and Ernest, so good. I love it.
Song.
Like, I don't know what it is about that song. Obviously, it's so sad, but like it just gives such a good vibe too. I think it's the way their voices complement each other that really hits for me. But yeah, what a good love song. Obviously, a sad one, but just the way they talk about like flowers and emotion and how those two can kind of like play off of each other is so smart to me. And yeah, I'm obsessed with this song. I think it's just so clever and so honest and raw. So, Flower Shops is definitely a good song to check out. But Nicole, what was your song of the week?
To no one's surprise, I'm going to stay on the country train. Like Gracie is there. Megan Maroney had a new release this week, 6 months later. Or sorry, the song came out last week, 6 months later. So good. I love her vibe with this new, probably ramping up to a new album that's in the future. But her release that I talked about a few weeks ago, back with Kenny Chesney, You Had to Be There. This has very much the same musical vibe to it, the upbeat vibe to it. I love the cover art and art that she released for all of it. If you saw on her Instagram, she posted one with like a bedazzled phone and her giving the middle finger, and she's like, I wanted to make this the cover art, but my mom said no. So she has another one with her just there with the phone, and yeah, I love it. I love her music so much. As we all know, I've talked about Megan Moroney a lot on this show, and I think her career is just obviously skyrocketing and is only going up from here. So I'm excited to see what other new music we're possibly getting in the future. But if you haven't, go stream 6 months later.
Well, we have done our weekly watches and songs, so that means it's time for our upcoming releases. Nicole, what are we starting off with?
We're starting off in the theaters on June 27th. Megan 2.0 is coming out. If you're looking for Megan Resurgence, if you're looking for the doll again, she's back.
The promo for this has been crazy. I keep getting like so many videos.
Let me tell you, I could not turn a street in Los Angeles without seeing a billboard of Megan's face on it.
You know what? Good for her. Slay Queen.
She's everywhere.
But also in theaters, if you feel like doing a double feature, we have F1, which Nicole is very excited about, apparently.
Listen,
Uh,
after Gran Turismo, a movie that came out 2 summers ago, I believe now, so good. I might not be a car person. I'm not, definitely not. But car movies are very interesting.
you know what? Cars is a classic.
Okay, we might be thinking two different movies. But also in theaters on June 27th, we have Sorry Baby.
I'm super excited for this one. I didn't realize it was coming up so soon, but Squid Game season 3 will be on Netflix.
June has gotten away from us. The end of June felt so far away, and all of a sudden it's here.
Dude, I could have sworn this was coming out like next year.
And finally, on June 27th, we have Smoke on Apple TV Plus.
Moving it over to June 29th, we have a limited theater release for Clueless. It's celebrating its 30th anniversary. So if you're into that, go check it out.
Ugh, as if. Sorry, I had to.
It's
On
okay. You did great.
on July 1st, we have Twisted Metal Season 2 on Peacock.
And on July 2nd, we're back in the theaters with Jurassic World Rebirth.
Also on July 2nd, we have Heads of State on Prime Video.
And wrapping up our list, we have The Old Guard 2 on Netflix.
So it's a busy week, whether you're in the theater, whether you're at home watching on streaming, there's lots to check out. So definitely this is the beginning of the huge releases that we go into July. So many movies.
It's the
I
beginning of the summer era.
I'm so hyped. It's a good movie. It's a good movie summer, and I'm excited.
If you know where to find Nicole for the next few months, it is in the movie theaters.
As if it already wasn't, but like now you can really bet on it. Well, that's all we have for this week's show. Thank you so much for sticking around and talking all things entertainment news with us. We'll be back same time next week as always. But until then, I'm Nicole.
I'm Gracie, and you can watch or listen to us wherever you get your podcasts on Spotify and YouTube.
We'll see you then. Bye.
All right.